Okay, we're going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. I think we're all ready to roll here, so I have to call the minutes. I'm here. Harold is here. Sharon here. Steve here. Diana's not. She now. Alfonso. Yeah. Okay, great. And Mr. Link is not here. So our starting time is officially 3:05. Okay, we have an item of review today. It's from the Kentucky School for the Deaf. The American Rescue Plan updates. KBE Director Shannon Sparkman and KBE Director Gerald Miles and KSB Principal Lynn Petrie and will present an update. Dr. Leachman, yes.
Thank you. We're happy to be here today to be able to present some of the enhancements that have been made at KSD from ARP funding. Joining me is Dr. Petrie, the principal at KSD, and Jared Mills is our technology director. And Jared's going to walk us through a presentation and share some information with you.
My name is Jared Mills. I have been at KSD for 8 years. I'm also the parent of a student who is in 7th grade. So I kind of am able to see things from my leadership role at KSD and from a parent point of view. So it's kind of an interesting place that I find myself. Okay, so when we started looking at what projects we wanted to do, our goals were to increase the literacy of our deaf students historically and nationwide, deaf students and just the deaf population as a whole. Reading levels are low. To provide transferable skills within video broadcast skill set, facilitate networking, collaboration opportunities with students. Basically, just give our students some transferable skills within a field that is becoming more and more important to the deaf community. And because our students come from, you say, Paducah to Pikeville, to provide just visibility to our stakeholders, be it alumni, be it parents of students, whoever is connected to our school. Go to the next slide. So, historically speaking, print media has been a huge aspect of deaf work. The deaf population has historically found a home working at newspapers, printing presses, printing books, a variety of different things. KSD, as a school, we ran a printing press continuously from 1874 to 2004. We printed a publication called the Kentucky Standard, which provided updates about our school, different things that's going on with the deaf community within Kentucky. And it was distributed nationwide to other deaf schools, to parents, just stakeholders all over. And just one thing that I want to point out from that blurb is from 1970 to 2000, there were more than 125 deaf workers at the Washington Post. So it was a very prevalent job field that, because of the increase in technology, print media is pretty much, it's falling by the wayside, unfortunately. And so that's left a lot of deaf students and deaf adults looking for a place to go. Next slide. So these are some examples of current digital media that the deaf are picking up. So in the bottom left here, I'll stand. So in the bottom left here, this is a man by the name of George Fiditz. The video is from 1913. And in this speech, that's, I believe, the first ASL speech on camera, and he is encouraging the deaf community, deaf population, to use this new technology to record and share ASL. Because before then, ASL was handed from person to person. That's the only way to learn it. There was no no other way to. There's no written form. So I find that really cool. The first video of ASL is him encouraging people to use it to preserve it. These are different types of deaf news, deaf broadcasts. This is the most popular, Daily Moth. It started off just him in his basement, and now he's got a huge following. This is more worldwide news. Sign One News is associated with CNN. CNN sponsors them. DPAN is another very popular and very widely known deaf broadcast company. They do more than, they don't really have a news outlet themselves, but they are the ones who interpret Super Bowl, presidential election debates, and different nationwide broadcasts. And then Deaf Nation is another, it's kind of like a op-ed. They do a lot of deaf community. And this anchor right here actually is Sandra Mae Frank. She is a graduate of Kentucky School for the Deaf. She graduated in 2009. Next slide. We're very proud of her. She's been in movies. She's been on Broadway. We definitely claim her with lots of celebration. These are other types of deaf digital media, not just news, but we have deaf musicians. A lot of people don't really think about deaf as being musically inclined because, but so this is Sean Forbes. He is a deaf rapper, and he voices as well as signs. And this is a man by the name of Douglas Ridloff, and I particularly chose this just because the way that he combines ASL with digital media. I wish I would have made it a little bit bigger so you could see it clearer, but it's showing as he's signing the raindrop. He's showing how the storm got more and more intense. You can see digital drawings showing the storm. And that's kind of the way, once you become fluent in ASL, that's the way you see it. It's really, really cool because you see the story forming. ASL is story-based. And so just to see that paired it's something that I want to be able to do. And then this is a videography camp that is put on in New York. And here is a young man by the name of Payne Yance who went to the camp. He's from Kentucky School for the Deaf. He's a 2018 grad, and he is, I think, still in college doing digital media. Slide. This is probably one of the main things that I wanted to do when I first got to KSD. I wanted to build a studio. Video is so important, and the reason why is because of those reading scores that I told you. Those reading scores are low because of language deprivation. So the critical time for learning language is from 0 to 3. We don't pick up students until age 3 for preschool. And so that gap there, 90 to 95% of deaf students are born to hearing parents. Those hearing parents do, and that's from the CDC. Those hearing parents most often don't know sign language. I didn't. Whenever our son was born, I'd met one deaf person in my life. I didn't know sign language. And so we started picking it up. And our goal was always to stay ahead of him. Unfortunately, that's not very common. Only about 22.9% of families learn to sign. And we see that. We routinely get students that come in fourth grade, fifth grade, middle school that have no language. Literally seventh graders that don't know that their parents have names because they don't have language. And so the struggle that our teachers are finding is, how do you teach a child algebra when they don't have language? And so the biggest struggle and that's nationwide. The biggest struggle that deaf educators have is language deprivation. And so my goal with our project was to combat that. So next slide. So we started trying to make, this was our first attempt at making our own reading materials. The Rocky Mountain School for the Deaf makes materials, and I wanted to make materials for our students or our state. And so this was our first one. We basically put a book, we scanned it in, put a book on a smartboard, and had a student signing it. It was rough. And then COVID happened, and on our conferencing, it became easier because we were able to do picture in picture. And we recorded it straight from that. During COVID, I was able to get a camera and a green screen and a couple of lights. And we created a mini studio until our big studio went in. So these were created. I think this one was created with the small studio, and this one was created with the new studio. But this was kind of the goal. And then if you go to the next slide. So these videos, before I get to this, these videos were to supplement the 20 minutes of reading a day. So a hearing child that reads with their parents for 20 minutes a day is exposed to 1.8 million words per year. Our parents can't sign to their children to read them books. And so they're not getting that language. So these videos are to supplement that. So if they can watch videos for 20 minutes a day, then they're getting that reading time until they get to us. So this is a progression of our news reporting at KSD. When I first got there, I had a webcam and a laptop, and I was going weekly and recording the students. They had written scripts, and I was putting it together. It was very time-consuming, labor-intensive. This is where students started using iPads. And then here is with our studio that we put in with the ARP money. Our students are able to interview each other using a green screen or different backgrounds that we have. We're able to incorporate closed captions. We're able to, we have a teleprompter. We have all these different professional level things in our studio that make just a huge difference. And with the interviews, they're getting social skills, interview skills. And then we have teachers that also make announcements for the classroom, for the school, and do different fun things. Next one. So I think the next one, okay. So here's the progression of our studio. This was the small studio that I kind of pieced together until we were able to use this ARP money. And we built this studio, which is all professional level equipment. We have teleprompter, we have the video switchers. Anything here, our students are going to encounter at the college level if they go to a broadcast media pathway. If they go to a television company, it's going to be on a much larger scale, but they're going to encounter the same thing, the video switcher, the same technologies. They will be familiar with them and able to hang with other kids that are coming from public schools. Here you can see more interviews happening, and just the different pictures from around the studio. Last. So here we created the first English ASL sports broadcast. Probably within the state of Kentucky. I'm just claiming it. So we collaborated with Boyle County, who has an awesome sports broadcast company, or sports broadcast network. And I've gotten to be pretty close with them while building our program. And so we collaborated. We played them in the 45th district tournament last year. And so during our game, we had a picture-in-picture. We had an interpreter back here. Some of y'all may know Bentley White. I know he does a lot of things up at KBE, or did last year. He graduated. And then we have another student here. Can't see her face, but this is Allison Tucker. And so as another interpreter here, so as the broadcasters are talking, he's in talking with them, talking about the team, talking about different things. We have picture-in-picture for our deaf audience that's watching. It was really, really neat to get into that. And that's what our goal is for KSD, for our KSD games with this broadcasting class. This year is the first year that we have a full semester of digital media and digital broadcast pathway classes. And so this is the goal. To be able to have picture-in-picture student-led broadcasts of our sports and everything on campus. So another project that went in are these announcement screens that we put all around campus and all of our lobbies, all of our open areas. The deaf community is extremely information is very, very important. Information sharing is incredibly important. It plays a huge role because a lot of times deaf people miss information because if they're not paying attention right at the exact moment, they're not going to catch maybe reading someone's lips, or if it's not accessible. So we share information. And so this is how we're able to do this now. We didn't have a way before. And so we have our announcements. Each school has a slide, the elementary, middle, high school, where they can share. We have all the athletics. We have the interviews. We have the news broadcast. Their dorms, all of their dorm activities. We highlight students' achievements. We highlight, I think Principal Petrie has a slide where he each month teachers recommend a student that has just been awesome that month. And so students are, hopefully competing to be little angels to make it up on the broadcast board.
It's the leadership function.
Yes. Another important role that these play. So as you can imagine, being a deaf school, mass alerts become difficult because sirens don't really mean a lot to us. And so we have flashing screens, but if you're looking down, you're not really gonna, or not, sorry, not flashing screens, but strobes. But if you're looking down, you may not catch the strobe. If you're turned away, you may not catch it. So we have a system called Alertus that takes over any screen that's on our network. Laptops, TVs, it doesn't matter. If it's on our network, it takes it over. And so these play an important role because it's out in the open. So says, hey, we're locking down, or hey, there's a tornado, take cover. So those play a dual role in that. The other very large project, aside from one of the other projects that we did, was we overhauled our network to be able to handle all this. And that was a very large project. We refreshed pretty much our entire network infrastructure, except for the cabling. That's the only thing that stayed. In addition to that, our other large project was a presentation area where we do our trainings for staff. We do field trips for students, virtual field trips. They're able to communicate and collaborate with other deaf schools. So we have very similar to in here. We have two 98-inch screens up front. We also have a confidence monitor in the back so that as a presenter is presenting, they're not constantly doing this because at school, if I'm looking here, I'm not seeing someone asking a question. So I can stay like this and talk to you and I can see what I'm, so it just increases that accessibility. We also have 4 cameras, PTZ cameras around that catch multiple different angles. And we've had students that have had virtual field trips and talked with, I believe, say again?
Michigan.
Michigan School for the Deaf. We also talked with, I'm thinking of the dog sled lady.
Alaska.
Yes, we talked with a woman in Alaska who was she was deaf, a deaf dog sledder. Because our middle school students were doing a unit on the Iditarod. So they were able to communicate with this woman in Alaska.
And she sent care packages too, which had little like cupcake suckers.
Yeah.
And so they were very good.
And they opened them while they were on the field trip, correct? So she was able to, she sent them things and she was able to watch them. And these cameras are amazing. And so when you turn this camera around, you can see the entire area and it makes it feel like you're right there. One of the other things, and you all use these systems, so it makes it amazing because you can see your presentation materials, you can see the picture of the person presenting, but for us, it also puts an interpreter very large on the screen. Before we had 165-inch smartboard, and that's what we did all of our presentations on. Our interpreter typically stands off to the side in front of a black curtain. Our deaf staff and all of our students would fight for who could sit the closest, because the further back you get, the harder it is to see. And so our entire presentation area wasn't accessible to our own staff and students. So now with this system, it is, because we can put an interpreter in giant on the screen and our staff or students can sit anywhere and they can see the interpreter. So we've increased our accessibility. Another very large portion of why we did that system here is for our board meetings. Before our board meetings, we had a single camera in the back, and it really just is not accessible. If you're at home and you're deaf and you're watching this, you can't see finger spelling, so you don't know who they're talking about whenever they finger spell a name. The audio made things really difficult because we're pulling audio from the back. So with our new system, we have multiple different angles. We have, it just looks a lot more professional and increases our accessibility. And again, this is not just accessibility at our school, but also for the entire state, for all of our stakeholders that are watching, be it alumni, be it parents, be it board members. So with the PTZ cameras, it also came with 6 ceiling speakers and one really, really awesome array microphone in the middle. Yeah, so all that to say, we really, really appreciate the support that we've gotten from the department throughout the whole ARP process. It was a long 5 years from COVID, but a lot of great things came from it. And I'm really excited with the direction that KSD is going. I feel like our students are going to be a lot more prepared because of these projects. And so we're just really appreciative.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
For technical interpretation, are there training programs, and I think specifically of law and medicine? Does KSD start training people for to doing those sorts of things, or does that have to go someplace like Gallaudet, or how does that work? Because I know there's a demand for it.
So interpretation meeting
I
for,
mean, if you're going to sit down with your lawyer or your physician, you know, you might know what a table is, but nobody's going to know what a preliminary hearing is. Or do you all do
So-
some training?
so for healthcare places are required to provide an interpreter, per the ADA. And so when a deaf person has to make a doctor's appointment, or if they make an appointment with a lawyer, they will request an interpreter, and that agency, that place of business will contact an interpreting agency. And then that interpreter's job is to take the English and make sure that the deaf person understands it, which it's put into ASL so that they're able to.
It's interesting you say that. This past year, we were given the opportunity to apply for a grant and become part of something that's nationwide called the Future Deaf Scientists. So I was able to have 4 students get into that program, and they were able to collaborate with UK Markey Cancer Center for the month of July, and that kind of gave them a foot into hearing that medical terminology, getting exposed to it. It's all about exposure and experience for our students. And those are the type of opportunities that I'm always looking for. And we were able to participate in that. And I was very excited about that. We might be presenting on that pretty soon. So
Well, I'm from Bullock County, and you know, used to be a prosecutor, and it was tough to explain to people what's going on in court.
mhm.
And I know it's got to be difficult in a medical situation. And by the way, Charlie Thomas is a name you should always include in any presentation on print. Do you know Charlie Thomas? Did you ever know him?
I did not.
He was a bedrock at KSD for years, probably 70 years over there. Everybody knew him. He was a terrific advocate for deaf awareness and deaf abilities. Just outstanding guy. And on top of that, just a good guy.
We were able to take our student body government up to the courthouse. They did a Kentucky Supreme Court hearing in
Yes.
Danville. So we were able to take our student body government up there on a field trip to have watch the proceedings
At
at
Center College. Yeah, they have that.
Norton.
Norton Center for the Arts. Yes.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Go ahead. Fonzie. We'll go with you first. She just read it. Any questions? It's not the board chair today.
I don't know where to start because with a little bit of background, right, that Melody knows. I work here for 5 years and as the state supervisor for work languages. And one of the projects that I work on was precisely on bringing ASL as a work language in the public schools, because I have heard that sentiment that you said about language deprivation. And the way that I decided to tackle that was precisely, well, let's build the knowledge of the hearing folks so that they can understand better. Let's use language to create that bridge of communication, right? So in regard to everything that you have presented, first, I'm so happy to see that you all are thriving. I mean, just based on the pictures, this is amazing. So I'm so happy for you. My questions are regarding the creation of resources. Have you collaborated with KET or consider that option?
Don't believe we have.
Just thinking about potential media careers.
Yeah.
That may be a really great opportunity
Yeah.
for you to explore.
I know that I've spoken with them at KISTI before. Now CAST, but I guess with our digital media class just starting this year, I don't believe we've collaborated with them, but that's definitely something that we need to
So
look into.
that would be one thing. My second thing, we mentioned about scientists and lawyers. What about education? Have you had conversations with your students about becoming teachers? Teachers? Let me clarify. Teachers. Or students who are deaf and teachers who can teach American Sign Language as if it were their own native language.
So we have many students who their goal is to become a teacher. We have multiple students who have graduated that graduated since I've been there and are actively working to become teachers or are finishing up and getting ready to start teaching. And they're teaching around the nation. Currently, we have 1, 2, 13, 3, 4 firemen.
Back then, I used to collaborate with EKU to create a specific pathway for students from KSD to pursue that specific path. So I don't know if that's something you thought.
Currently, we have 4 or 5 teachers who are KSD graduates. And so we do.
Thinking about representation,
Mhm.
I mean, right now I work in a school where I am a Spanish teacher, but I have several kids that they have told me that they would love to start some kind of club, their school club that is focused on American Sign Language.
Yes.
So I have started to incorporate a few signs in my classes, but I'm not the expert on that. And as much of a language specialist I can be, but it's like me trying to teach French when I'm not a native French speaker, Spanish language speaker. The other theme is you mentioned that you have connected with other people in other states. Have you tried to expose your students to other deaf individuals in other countries? And if you are interested, I would love to have a conversation with you all. Okay.
When deaf aviators from France came over this past summer,
Okay.
and we were able to get some of our teachers to go speak with them. So
Spain.
not yet.
I see you taking notes.
Okay, Alfonso, I gotta let.
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, I will say the caveat to that is that ASL is American Sign Language. So like there are British Sign Language, Mexican Sign Language that, yes, it's, yes.
Sure, do I get your question?
I just, kind of administrative, but important. Have you been able to incorporate the maintenance cost and, whatever we need to budget, whatever resources you need to keep the equipment up to date, maintained and so forth? What is that? And do you need additional advocacy and awareness to make sure that as you build the program dependent on this equipment and you know, at some point it'll be obsolete. I mean, there is a financial dynamic here that I want us to be aware of. So you might not know the answer now, but make sure we get to work on that and get that factored into our advocacy and awareness and advocacy for maintaining this effort. And I'm blown away and happy. I mean, this is worth celebrating. Thank you.
I'll say just to address your comment, I will say, I believe all of our projects came with a service agreement to maintain. I did make sure to include that. And so as far as maintaining the current, yes, we have that, but that is definitely something that I have talked with Dr. Petrie and Dr.
No,
Shannon. Okay.
No.
I drew a blank right there.
Let it go at some point, you know, I just gave.
But I've spoken with both of them, just to let them know that, yes, this it's about 5 to 8 years and then we're gonna have to buy more. So
Because my board chair will call me out and there for not getting back on time when we get there. I just want to thank you all for the great report. I could sit here with lots of questions but I just think it's dynamic work, great work. I'm very happy to present it there. So thank you for bringing this, because this is what we need to see, those types of things. It's very, very exciting. But I do need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, and we're adjourned at 3:40. We're going back to our other meeting.